Captain Minho gripped the metal railing of his observation deck as the enormous shadow fell across Earth's blue skies. The alien ship was massive beyond imagination, easily 20 kilometers long and covered in strange purple lights that pulsed, like a heartbeat. It hung in space above the Pacific Ocean, silent and menacing. "Sir, incoming transmission?" his communications officer called out nervously. Lieutenant Yoon Dai-ho had been monitoring space for 15 years, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a creature that made everyone on the bridge step backward. Commander Veltar stood 8 feet tall with gray skin like stone, and 4 arms that moved independently. His black eyes showed no emotion as he spoke in perfect Korean, his voice deep and mechanical. "People of Earth, I am Commander Veltar of the Galactic Empire. We have conquered 400 star systems across this galaxy. Your primitive world will now join our collection. You will surrender immediately." Captain Minho felt his heart pounding, but kept his voice steady. "This is Captain Minho of the Earth Defense Force. What do you want from us?" Veltar's mouth twisted into what might have been a smile, revealing rows of sharp teeth. "Everything. Half of all food you grow, half of all metals you mine, half of all energy you produce. Your young warriors will join our armies to conquer other worlds. Your scientists will work in our laboratories. Your leaders will obey our commands without question." The alien commander paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. "You have 10 Earth days to accept these generous terms. Refuse, and we will demonstrate why resistance is foolish." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in shocked silence. Captain Minho immediately contacted Earth Command, and within hours, President Lee Jin-woo had called an emergency meeting in the underground war room beneath Seoul. The room filled with tension as Earth's top leaders gathered around a holographic display showing the alien vessel. General Park Hyun-sik studied the enemy ship through narrowed eyes, his weathered face grim with determination. Admiral Kim So-ra pulled up tactical data on her tablet, her fingers flying across the screen as she calculated their chances. Dr. Choi Min-jung, Earth's leading xenobiology expert, projected detailed scans of the alien commander onto the wall. "Based on their physiology and ship design, I estimate they come from a high-gravity world with thick atmosphere. They're probably much stronger than humans, but likely slower." "What about their technology?" President Lee asked, his voice heavy with worry. "Advanced beyond anything we have," Dr. Choi admitted. "Their ship's hull is made from materials we can't identify. The energy readings suggest weapons that could level entire cities with single shots. Intelligence estimates they have thousands of similar vessels scattered across the galaxy." General Park slammed his fist on the table. "Numbers don't matter if we have the will to fight. My grandfather fought the Japanese occupation with bamboo spears and won. We've faced impossible odds before." Admiral Kim looked up from her calculations. "Our space fleet has 87 combat vessels. Most are patrol ships designed for asteroid mining pirates, not galactic warfare. But we have 3 things they don't expect: creativity, desperation, and the home field advantage." She activated another hologram showing Earth's orbital defenses. "We can hide ships in the asteroid belt and behind the moon. Our manufacturing? Stations can be converted to produce weapons. Every civilian transport can become a missile if needed." Dr. Choi nodded thoughtfully. "During their transmission, I noticed something interesting. Their ship maintained perfect formation and followed standard communication protocols. They're used to conquered species surrendering immediately. They've never fought anyone who said no." President Lee stood up, his decision made. "They want our submission. They want our children as soldiers. They want to turn Earth into their feeding ground." His voice grew stronger with each word. "Over my dead body." General Park grinned fiercely. "The alien doesn't understand humans. When someone threatens our families, we don't surrender. We fight harder." Admiral Kim began accessing military databases. "I'll start moving our fleets into hidden positions. If they want a war, we'll give them something they've never seen before: human stubbornness." The next morning, President Lee stood before cameras broadcasting to the entire world. Behind him, the alien ship still hung in the sky like a dark omen. Citizens gathered in streets, homes, and shelters, waiting to hear their fate. "Fellow humans," President Lee began, his voice calm but firm. Yesterday, aliens demanded we become their slaves. Today, I give you our answer. He looked directly into the camera, his eyes blazing with determination. We are humans. We bow to no one. We kneel to no master. If they want our world, they'll have to take it from our cold, dead hands. Across Earth, millions of people cheered. In space stations, asteroid mines, and lunar colonies, human workers grabbed whatever weapons they could find. The Galactic Empire had made a terrible mistake. They had threatened humanity's home. The 10th day arrived like a storm cloud over Earth. President Lee Jin-woo stood in the communications center, knowing that his next words would either save humanity or doom it. Forever. Every human settlement across the solar system watched their screens, waiting for their leader's decision. Commander Veltar's massive ship still hung over Earth like a metal mountain, its purple lights pulsing impatiently. The alien commander appeared on screens worldwide, his forearms crossed and his black eyes gleaming with confidence. He had conquered hundreds of worlds this exact same way. People of Earth, Veltar spoke in his mechanical voice, your time is finished. Surrender now, and some of you may live as our servants. Continue this foolish resistance, and we will turn your blue world into dust. President Lee stepped forward, his jaw set with determination. Behind him stood the flags of every nation on Earth, united for the first time in human history. He looked directly into the camera, speaking not just to Veltar but to every alien species listening across the galaxy. Commander Veltar of the Galactic Empire, President Lee began, his voice steady and strong. We have considered your generous offer to become your slaves. We have thought about giving you our children as soldiers. We have imagined watching you strip our world bare. He paused, letting silence fill the air. Our answer is no. The words echoed across space, transmitted on every frequency humans could access. We are humans. We have fought for freedom for thousands of years. We have died for it, bled for it, and sacrificed everything for it. We will not surrender our liberty to you or anyone else. President Lee's voice grew stronger. You want our world? Come and take it. You want our submission? You'll find only defiance. You want our fear? We give you only our courage. This is Earth. This is humanity, and we bow to no one. Commander Veltar's stone-like face showed the first crack of emotion anyone had ever seen from him. His four hands trembled slightly as he processed what he had just heard. In 300 years of conquest, no species had ever said no to the Galactic Empire. Impossible, he whispered to his bridge crew. They must be insane. Do they not understand what we can do to them? His second-in-command, a reptilian creature with scales like armor, hissed nervously. Commander, perhaps they don't fully comprehend our power. Should we demonstrate by destroying one of their cities? Veltar shook his massive head. No. Send word to High Command immediately. Request the 7th Battle Fleet. If these humans want extinction, we will accommodate them. Across human space, the President's words ignited a fire of preparation. On Mars colonies, miners grabbed their drilling equipment and began modifying it into weapons. In the asteroid belt, Captain Yoon Do-hyun commanded a fleet of civilian cargo ships, each one being transformed into a potential warship. Listen up. People, Captain Yoon announced over the communication system to his scattered fleet. We're not soldiers, but we're humans. That alien up there thinks we're easy prey because we're new to space travel. Time to show him how wrong he is. Engineer Jang Mi-young worked without sleep in the orbital factories above Earth. Her team of brilliant minds raced against time, converting peaceful mining lasers into ship-cutting weapons. Cargo containers became missile shells. Communication. Satellites turned into spy networks. The Empire builds everything big and slow, she explained to her exhausted team as they welded armor plates onto civilian ships. They think bigger always means better. But we know something they don't. Sometimes the smallest mosquito can bring down the largest giant. Her fingers flew across holographic displays, designing new weapons from spare parts and human ingenuity. They've been conquering peaceful species for centuries, species that gave up without a real fight, but they've never faced humans backed into a corner. Meanwhile, Dr. Han Jae-min made a discovery that would change everything. During Veltar's diplomatic visit, Human sensors had secretly scanned every inch of the alien vessel. Hidden in the complex data, he found their weakness. "Look at this," he exclaimed to Admiral Kim So-ra, pointing at energy patterns on his screen. "Their shields are designed to stop big, powerful attacks, massive energy beams, nuclear explosions, planet-killing weapons. But watch what happens when I simulate multiple small impacts." The computer model showed something incredible. While the alien shields easily deflected huge attacks, dozens of tiny hits at the same spot caused the energy barrier to flicker and fail. "It's like trying to stop rain with an umbrella," Dr. Han explained excitedly. "The umbrella can handle wind and hail, but enough raindrops in the right place will find a way through." Admiral Kim smiled grimly as she understood the implications. "Swarm tactics. Hit them with everything we have all at once from every direction." Throughout the solar system, humans prepared for war with desperate creativity. Children were evacuated to hidden bunkers on distant moons. Factories worked around the clock producing ammunition and armor. Even civilian scientists joined the effort, turning their research stations into weapons laboratories. The galaxy watched in amazement as news of humanity's defiance spread. For the first time in centuries, someone had said no to the Empire. Enslaved. Species on distant worlds whispered the story to each other. Somewhere, someone was fighting back. Commander Veltar received his orders from the Empire's capital. The message was simple and brutal. Destroy them all. Make an example that will be remembered for 1,000 years. 3 months of preparation had transformed the Proxima Centauri system into humanity's first line of defense. Admiral Krixivol commanded the most fearsome fleet in the galaxy. 200 massive warships painted in the Empire's blood-red colors. Each vessel stretched over 1 kilometer long, bristling with weapons that could crack planets in half. The Admiral stood on his flagship's bridge, a towering creature with 6 legs and skin like liquid metal. His species had conquered 47 worlds for the Empire, and he had never lost a single battle. Today would be no different. "Sensors show no human activity," reported his tactical officer, a spider-like alien with multiple eyes scanning readouts. "The system appears abandoned." "Admiral." Krixivol studied the empty space around the red dwarf star. No defense platforms, no patrol ships, no signs of resistance whatsoever. His mandibles clicked with amusement. "Cowards," he hissed through his breathing apparatus. "They fled rather than face Imperial justice. Begin scanning for their escape. Routes. We will hunt them down like the insects they are." But Captain Nam Woo-jin had other plans. Hidden inside a hollowed-out asteroid, he watched the enemy fleet through passive sensors, his heart racing with anticipation. Around him, his modified fighter squadron waited in absolute silence, their engines cold and their weapons powered. "Down. Easy targets," whispered his wingman, Lieutenant Park Sung-ho, as he counted the massive enemy ships. "They're flying in perfect formation, just like a parade." Captain Nam smiled grimly. "That's because they've never fought anyone who fought back. Today they learn what humans do when cornered." Hidden throughout the asteroid belt, dozens of human ships waited in ambush. Converted mining vessels disguised as space rocks. Fighter squadrons concealed inside ice comets. Even modified cargo containers drifting like debris, packed with enough explosives to gut a battleship. Admiral Krixivol grew impatient as his fleet spread out to search the system. "These humans waste our time. Begin bombardment of their nearest colony. Perhaps that will flush them out." At that moment, the asteroids came alive. Captain Nam's fighter burst from its rocky hiding place, followed by 20 more small ships. They accelerated at speeds that made the alien sensor operators dizzy, weaving between the massive Imperial vessels like deadly wasps. "All units, this is Eagle Leader," Nam broadcast on the secure channel. "Remember the plan. We're not here to fight fair. We're here to survive, hit them fast, hit them hard, and make them remember why they should fear humans." The Empire's ships tried to target the tiny human fighters, but their massive weapons were designed for ship-to-ship combat. The huge plasma cannons moved too slowly to track the darting human vessels. It was like trying to swat flies with a sledgehammer. Lieutenant Shin Yun-ji piloted her fighter with incredible skill, dancing between laser blasts that could have vaporized her ship in an instant. Her modified mining laser cut through enemy armor like a hot knife through butter. Behind her flew Sergeant Kim Tae-woo, whose fighter had been equipped with a dozen small missiles, each one aimed at the weak points Dr. Han had discovered. "Their shields are flickering," Tae-woo shouted over the communication system. "The multiple impact theory works." All around the battlefield, human tactics baffled the Imperial forces. Unmanned cargo ships, controlled by remote pilots, rammed directly into enemy vessels at full speed. The Empire's point defense systems were designed to stop missiles and fighters, not 200-ton cargo containers moving at incredible velocity. Admiral Krixvoll watched in horror as his flagship shuddered under impact after impact. Impossible. How are such primitive ships damaging our armor? His answer came as engineer Jang Mi-young's masterpiece revealed itself. Hidden inside what appeared to be a floating piece of space junk, a converted mining platform suddenly powered up. Its massive industrial laser, originally designed to cut through asteroid rock, fired a concentrated beam directly into the flagship's weapon systems. The beam punched through shields designed to stop nuclear weapons, but overwhelmed by the focused intensity of human mining technology. Explosions rippled across the Admiral's ship as weapon systems overloaded and ammunition stores detonated. Lieutenant Shin Yun-ji saw her opportunity. Her fighter's engine had been damaged by enemy fire, and she was losing power fast. Ahead of her, an Imperial destroyer was turning to fire its main cannon at a group of human civilian ships trying to escape. "Not today," she whispered, pushing her engine to maximum power despite the warning alarms screaming in her cockpit. Her fighter accelerated directly toward the destroyer's engine section. The enemy ship's point defense lasers tracked her approach, but she rolled and twisted, making herself an impossible target. "Eagle Leader, this is Falcon 7, she broadcast to Captain Nam. "Tell my family I died fighting for freedom. Tell them we showed these aliens what humans are made of." "Hyunji, no," Nam shouted back. "Pull out, that's an order." But it was too late. Her fighter slammed directly into the destroyer's main engine at full speed. The explosion lit up space like a tiny star, and when the light faded, both ships were gone. Her sacrifice was not in vain. The destroyer's destruction opened a gap in the Imperial formation, allowing 3 human transport ships filled with refugees to escape to safety. Across the battlefield, her final words echoed through every human communication system. "For Earth. For freedom." The battle raged for 6 more hours. Human ships appeared from impossible hiding places, inside gas clouds, beneath planetary rings, even disguised as floating debris. Each attack was perfectly coordinated, striking at the exact moment when Imperial ships were most vulnerable. By the time Admiral Krixvoll ordered a retreat, 40% of his mighty fleet was destroyed or crippled. His surviving ships limped away from Proxima Centauri, carrying with them something the Empire had never experienced before: fear. The humans had not just fought back, they had won. The news of humanity's impossible victory at Proxima Centauri traveled faster than light. Across the galaxy's communication networks, on 1,000 enslaved worlds, alien prisoners huddled around hidden receivers, listening to the incredible story of the species that said no to the Empire. On the mining world of Kepler 442b, the Zephyrian slaves stopped their endless digging to whisper among themselves. These blue-skinned humanoids had been conquered 50 years ago, their families separated, and their culture destroyed. But now, for the first time in decades, hope flickered in their large golden eyes. "Is it true?" asked Zara, a young Zephyrian whose parents had died in the mines. "Did someone really defeat an Imperial fleet?" Elder Corin nodded slowly, his weathered hands trembling with excitement. "The humans fought back, child. They showed the Empire that freedom is stronger than fear. 3 star systems away, the insectoid Mantari workers in the crystal factories began organizing secret meetings. Their species communicated through chemical signals, making it impossible for Imperial guards to understand their conversations. The message spreading through their hive networks was simple: if humans could fight, so could they. Captain Oh Tae-young received his orders while aboard the stealth ship Silent Thunder near the edge of Imperial space. The message was brief, but clear: liberate as many alien prisoners as possible and teach them to fight. "Listen up, people," he addressed his team of Special Forces soldiers. They were humanity's best. former commandos, space marines, and infiltration experts who had volunteered for the most dangerous mission imaginable. We're not just rescuing prisoners, we're spreading a revolution. Sergeant Lee Dong-min checked his modified pulse rifle. It's design based on captured Imperial technology, but improved with human engineering. Sir, we're talking about going deep into enemy territory. If we're caught, there's no rescue mission coming for us. Captain O smiled grimly. Then we don't get caught. Remember, every being we free is another soldier for freedom. Every chain we break weakens the Empire's grip on the galaxy. Their first target was a prison world called Terminus 7, where the Empire kept its most dangerous political prisoners. The planet was a fortress, surrounded by defense platforms and patrolled by automated kill ships. But humans had learned to think differently about impossible obstacles. Engineer Song Ki-woo had spent months studying captured Imperial technology, his brilliant mind finding flaws that alien engineers had missed for centuries. "Look at this," he explained to the infiltration team, pointing at holographic displays of enemy ship designs. "They build everything to last forever, but they never update their systems. Their security codes haven't changed in 200 years, because they never needed to." His breakthrough came from understanding how the Empire thought. They had conquered so many species for so long that they had become overconfident. Their weapons were powerful but predictable. Their defenses were strong but inflexible. "We can't match their firepower," Song admitted, "but we can outthink them. Watch this." He activated a device no bigger than a human fist, a virus transmitter. That could hack into Imperial computer networks. Once inside, it would spread like digital wildfire, turning the Empire's own systems against them. The mission to Terminus 7 became a masterpiece of human ingenuity. Captain O's team infiltrated the prison using stolen Imperial uniforms and forged identification codes. They moved through the facility like ghosts, avoiding patrols and security cameras with skills learned from generations of human warfare. In the deepest cells, they found horrors that made even hardened soldiers weep. Thousands of aliens imprisoned for the crime of wanting freedom, families separated for decades, children who had never seen sunlight. "Every being deserves freedom," Captain O whispered to his team as they quietly disabled the prison's security systems. "Today we give it back to them." The prison break was swift and silent. Using Song's virus, they turned off the alarm systems and opened every cell door simultaneously. Thousands of prisoners, Zephyrians, Mantari, crystalline beings, and dozens of other species, flooded through the corridors toward waiting human transport ships. But the real revolution began when these freed slaves reached other worlds. They carried with them not just news of their rescue, but proof that the Empire could be defeated. On planet after planet, slave revolts began erupting like wildfire. Colonel Bei Su-jin established the first multi-species training camp on a hidden asteroid base. Here, humans taught freed aliens how to fight using guerrilla tactics, how to build weapons from scrap materials, and how to coordinate attacks across multiple star systems. "We're all different species," she told a mixed group of trainees, blue Zephyrians, insectoid Mantari, and crystalline Vorthan refugees. "But we're all the same when we stand up for what's right. The Empire wants us to hate each other, to fight among ourselves. Instead, we fight together." The training was intense but effective. Humans shared everything they knew about warfare, while the aliens contributed their own unique abilities. Zephyrians could survive in environments that would kill humans. Mantari could communicate silently across vast distances. Vorthans could phase through solid matter for short periods. Engineer Song Ki-woo worked tirelessly to equip this growing rebel army. He combined human creativity with alien technology, creating weapons the Empire had never imagined. Zephyrian crystal technology became laser weapons. Mantari bioengineering produced self-repairing armor. Vorthan phase shifting created stealth devices. "They're advanced," Song explained to his mixed team of human and alien engineers, "but they've forgotten how to adapt. They build the same ships, use the same tactics, think the same thoughts they did centuries ago. We never stop learning, never stop changing." The Empire's response was predictable, but brutal. They sent larger fleets to crush the rebellions, but found themselves fighting on dozens of fronts simultaneously. Every victory came at tremendous cost, and every defeat inspired more species to join the revolution. Admiral Crixvoll, still recovering from his humiliation at Proxima Centauri, received increasingly desperate reports from across Imperial space. Entire sectors were in revolt, supply lines were being cut, prison worlds were being liberated faster than new ones could be built. How did this happen? He demanded of his subordinates. How did one small species cause this chaos? His intelligence officer, a mechanical being with multiple processors for a brain, calculated the answer with cold precision. The humans didn't just fight for territory, Admiral. They fought for an idea, and ideas spread faster than any weapon we possess. The galaxy was changing. For the first time in centuries, beings across thousands of worlds dared to dream of freedom. The Empire's control, once absolute and eternal, began to crack like old glass under the pressure of hope. 2 years of galaxy-wide rebellion had pushed Emperor Xanthok to his breaking point. The ancient ruler of the Galactic Empire had never faced such humiliation in his 1,000-year reign. 47 star systems were in open revolt, inspired by humanity's defiance. His iron grip on the galaxy was slipping, and he knew exactly who to blame. Standing in his throne room aboard the massive flagship Eternal Dominion, the Emperor towered 12 feet tall with skin like black marble and eyes that glowed with inner fire. His voice shook the metal walls as he addressed his war council. "Bring me 500 ships," he commanded, his forearms gesturing at holographic star maps. Every dreadnought, every battle cruiser, every planet killer in the Imperial Navy. Today we end this human plague once and for all. General Vextar, a cybernetic warrior with half his body replaced by combat machinery, bowed deeply. "Emperor, perhaps a smaller force would—" "No!" Xanthok's roar silenced the entire council. "These insects have made me look weak before the entire galaxy. I will personally crush their homeworld to dust and scatter the pieces across space. Every species will see what happens to those who defy the Empire." The largest armada in galactic history assembled at the edge of human space. 500 warships, each one a kilometer of death and destruction. Planet crackers that could split worlds in half. Antimatter cannons that could vaporize entire moons. The combined firepower could destroy a dozen star systems. But Admiral Lim Hee-jin was not intimidated. Standing on the bridge of her flagship Indomitable Spirit, she watched the approaching enemy fleet through tactical displays. Around her, the bridge crew worked with calm determination, despite knowing they faced impossible odds. "Ma'am, enemy count confirmed," reported Lieutenant Commander Cho Min-seo, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. 512 capital ships, plus escort vessels. Total enemy strength is over 800 ships. Admiral Lim nodded grimly. "And our forces?" 87 combat vessels, including converted civilian ships. "We're outnumbered 10 to 1. The Admiral looked around at her crew, young men and women who had volunteered to defend their home world, knowing they might not survive the day. Then we'll have to fight 10 times harder than they expect. She opened communication channels to every human ship in the fleet. "This is Admiral Lim speaking to all human forces. Behind us lies Earth, our home, our families, our future. Today, the Empire brings its full might against us, thinking they can break our spirit with superior numbers." Her voice grew stronger with each word. "They are wrong. We are humans. We have faced extinction before and survived. We have stared into the darkness and chosen to light a candle rather than curse the shadows. Today we show the galaxy what it truly means to be human." The battle began as Emperor Xanthok's fleet entered Earth's solar system. His massive ships moved in perfect formation, their weapons charging with deadly energy. But the humans had learned much in 2 years of guerrilla warfare. Captain Park Ji-hoon commanded a squadron of modified mining ships, their cargo holds packed with antimatter charges. "Remember, we're not trying to win a fair fight," he told his pilots as they accelerated toward the enemy formation. "We're buying time for the planet." His ships scattered like leaves in a storm, weaving between massive Imperial vessels while smaller fighters provided cover. The Empire's big guns couldn't track targets moving so erratically, but human pilots had trained for exactly this kind of chaos. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, Dr. Kwon Seung-ho worked frantically in his underground laboratory. For months he had been developing humanity's secret weapon, not a bomb or a gun, but something far more dangerous to the Empire. "It's ready," he announced to President Park Young-soo through encrypted communication. "The virus will spread through their entire fleet network within minutes of initial contact. But someone has to get close enough to upload it directly to their flagship." President Park, who had taken office after President Lee's death in an imperial bombing, understood what that meant. A suicide mission. "I'm afraid so, sir. But if it works, we can turn their own technology against them." Above Earth, the space battle raged with desperate intensity. Human ships fought like cornered wolves, using every trick they had learned from 2 years of war. Converted cargo haulers rammed imperial destroyers. Fighter squadrons swarmed capital ships like angry hornets. Even civilian vessels joined the fight, their pilots knowing that defeat meant slavery for their children. Lieutenant Yu Subin piloted her fighter through a storm of laser fire, her modified engines pushing beyond safe limits. Behind her, the indomitable Spirit was taking heavy damage, its armor cracking under relentless bombardment. "Admiral, we're losing structural integrity," reported the damage control officer. "Hull breaches on decks 7 through 12. We need to evacuate." But Admiral Lim refused to abandon her post. "Not while Earth needs us. Transfer all power to weapons. If we're going down, we're taking some of them with us." The flagship's final salvo crippled 2 Imperial cruisers before enemy fire finally breached the reactor core. As explosions tore through her ship, Admiral Lim sent one last transmission to Emperor Xanthok's fleet. "You wanted submission," she spoke calmly as flames surrounded her bridge. "We gave you war. You wanted slaves. We gave you freedom. You wanted fear. We gave you courage. Remember this day, Emperor. Remember that some fires can never be put out." At that moment, Dr. Kwon's virus activated. The digital plague spread through the Imperial fleet's interconnected computer systems faster than any physical weapon. Ship after ship lost power as their own technology turned against them. Weapon systems shut down. Navigation failed. Life support flickered. Emperor Xanthok watched in horror as his mighty fleet drifted helplessly in space. His own flagship, the pride of the Imperial Navy, became nothing more than a floating metal tomb. "Impossible," he whispered as smaller human vessels surrounded his powerless ship. "How can primitives defeat the greatest military force in the galaxy?" Captain Nam Woo-jin, survivor of the first battle at Proxima Centauri, answered him over open communication channels. "Because you forgot something important, Emperor. Technology isn't what makes a species great. It's the willingness to fight for what matters most." Faced with total defeat and surrounded by enemies, Emperor Xanthok had no choice but to surrender. The peace treaty that followed changed the galaxy forever. All enslaved species were granted immediate independence. The Empire's military was disbanded. Most importantly, a new government was established, the Free Alliance of Independent Worlds. President Park Young-soo stood before representatives from 100 liberated worlds, his words broadcast to every corner of the galaxy. "We never wanted to be conquerors. We never wanted to rule over others. We wanted only what every sentient being deserves, the right to choose our own destiny among the stars." He paused, looking at the diverse crowd of aliens who had joined humanity's cause. "Today begins a new age, an age where freedom matters more than power, where cooperation replaces conquest, where every being can live according to their own beliefs and dreams." The galaxy had learned a simple truth that the Empire had forgotten. No force in the universe is stronger than the desire for freedom. The end.